What up, Bebop crew? Welcome back to the channel. It's that time of year again where we go over the figures from last year. So here are the top 5 figures for 2023. Let's get into it. Alright, so but before we get into the actual top 5, I want to give an honorable mention to this figure because it was the last figure I got from last year, even though it was like the first figure you guys probably saw for this year. But it was one I was very happy to get, and it is the 1/4 scale Comey from Comey Can't Communicate bunny figure. So reason I'm putting this as an honorable mention is because I really do love this figure. It actually is, I think it's a gorgeous figure, not because it's a bunny, but because I love how Comey's face looks in it. I love the hair flow. I love the detail in this figure. Like legitimately, I think this is an amazing figure. And I think it has so much of details of Comey right because of the facial feature alone. Like when I saw it, I was like, the face is perfect on this figure. And I love the hair sculpt. I love the details on it. I think the figure itself is gorgeous. And the only reason it doesn't make the top 5 is because I think number 5, the actual 5, is probably just slightly better. But honestly, it's a toss-up. I could easily put her as number 5 in the number 5 spot in honorable mention. But I wanted to at least shout out this figure because I think it's gorgeous. But let's get into the actual number 5. Okay, so the actual number 5 figure for 2023 is number 5 Mito from Shokugeki no Soma 1/4 scale bunny. So I know another bunny figure, but trust me, it was very hard for me to choose between Comey and Mito because their figures are so unique into themselves because this is very, so for instance, Comey's bunny is very out of character for her, but at the same time it's still very sweet and somewhat innocent and just, I don't know, just aesthetically sexy and pleasing and everything. But then you have Mito's figure, which is very much like her character. It's like on the nose, like for like the bikini and everything. I think it dead on resembles her character. So I'm like, there's a figure that doesn't represent the character very well as far as like how we know her aesthetically, and there's one that represents her amazingly. So the two contrasts are very much there, especially given those two characters are very different. It was very hard for me to choose which one was actually number 5. So am I cheating a little bit? Kind of, but I overall put Mito as number 5 and Comey honorable mention. But Mito, her figure is gorgeous. Her skin tone is lovely. I love the fact that she's in a bikini like in the anime. I think the blue is an interesting choice. I would have loved it if they would have put her in her fire bikini, but I understand that's a little weird. But I do love this figure. I think it's a gorgeous one. I do love it very much. And it is the most viewed video on my channel right now. So thank you guys for that. So obviously you guys also love the figure. But I think overall I love it, especially because Shokugeki no Soma is one of my favorite animes. It's one of my favorite ecchi series. As one of my favorite comedic characters, which is Soma. So, and it just deals with food, which who doesn't love food? And everything on the show looks amazing. So, but I think this figure is gorgeous. I think the details are great. I love all the Shokugeki bunny figures because it's just amazing. And the other reason because there's not that many figures of these characters. I think Mito is one of a few exceptions. I think she has 2 other figures that actually does her character very well. I think it's one of her in a military suit and then one of her in her actual bikini. So she actually has more figures around her, surprisingly. But overall, I think this figure is the best because I think overall in quality, I think in character design and just overall shading, sculpture, I think this one's very well done. And the fact that it's one of like the 5, Food Wars bunnies I have just also enhances it because it goes with the collection. And I love, finishing a collection off or adding to it and everything. So Mito, my number 5 for 2023. So number 4 pick I have for you is Albedo China dress version. So I'll say this right now, this figure is gorgeous. I think it's an amazing figure. I love the design. I love the details. I love the base. I love everything about the figure except for obviously the 2 rods in the back. The only criticism I have for the figure is that it's in the same pose as a figure I got in 2022, 2021, one or two. And it's just same pose with her hand like brushing her hair from her ear, same kind of stance, one leg bent. It's almost the exact same pose. And I think that's the only thing that kind of takes it away, that doesn't make it as unique. It looks like it's just her in just a different outfit. But don't get me wrong, that's fine. A lot of figures, different outfit, but the fact that it's the same pose kind of takes away from it a little bit. And as well as the support rods. But overall, it's a gorgeous figure. I love it. Albedo's a very amazing character. I love the shading in her hair. I love the fact that it goes from this pitch black to this very almost translucent purple at the very tips of her hair. It's a gorgeous figure. I think the sculpt is fine. I think the sculpt is amazing. I think the paint detail is very good, especially with the little details in the actual dress. Very nicely done. The details on her spear, amazing. The details on this figure is gorgeous. So I wouldn't blame anybody if they put her higher on the list. But for me, I think because I have an Albedo figure, I think because it's not too unique as far as pose, I think that's what kind of takes away from it a little bit and just knocks it down a little bit for me as opposed to my top 3 figures. But again, because I do love the figure. The figure is also gorgeous. I love the gold flakes on the wings looking at it. It's a gorgeous figure. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, it's definitely top 5 for the year. But given how many figures I got, I was like, no, I definitely can rank. There's definitely figures I think of immediately above this Albedo one, which again, not knock the figure itself, is a gorgeous figure, but there are 3 other ones I think top the list. But Albedo China dress version is the number 4 on this list. Number 3, it's gonna be Alex from Ashram Designs. Now here's the funny thing, just like a minute ago when I was putting this in my list or like getting the next figure, she wasn't number 3, she was actually number 2. And I looked at number 3, I was like, no, I think I like number 2, the one that was number 3 better than this one. So overall, I love this figure, it's gorgeous. The first thing, I love the design, I love the art that's based off of. It's a gorgeous art, I love it so much. The fact that it comes with a wall scroll that's with the figure, and it hands down nails the art almost like one for one. The figure itself is gorgeous. I love the shading. I love the details. I love the coat that's very, very plastic and malleable. I love how it's designed. I love the face. The fact that it's an original character and everything is amazing. So the figure is gorgeous. I don't think there's a single flaw with the figure itself. And I was even surprised when it came in and it's a 1/7 scale. It's 1/6, I'm sorry. The fact that it was a 1/6 scale and I did not know that made it even better because that's a bigger figure for a very good price when I got it. So the figure is gorgeous. It's an amazing figure. And there's not anything I can honestly say is wrong with the figure. Aesthetically, it's amazing to look at. I think the artwork is fine. I think the sculpt is fine. The paintwork is amazingly detailed. I think everything about it is great. The base is, while it's a more of a metallic sidewalk silver, is not a plain black or white. So the figure itself nails almost everything across the line. Like across everything, it's an amazing figure. So there's no reason why this figure should be number 3. It should be number 2, but at the same time, I'm like, the figure that I have there, it's much more of a figure I think will probably be towards a Grail figure for me. But this figure is hands down gorgeous. And trust me, I struggled putting this one at number 3 and flip out number 2. So it was a toss up for that. Trust me, it was hard because this is like gorgeous. I love this figure very much. It's an aesthetically different figure from all of the ones in my collection for the most part. Like there are figures that kind of go with it now, but no, this is definitely like, no, this is a gorgeous figure. I really do love it. And honestly, at times in my mind, I might put it as my number 2 figure for 2023, but As of right now, in this moment, I'm going to put her as number 3. But again, don't get me wrong. Ashram Design, you did an amazing job with this figure. It's gorgeous. I love it. It is so amazingly detailed. But I have to put you at number 3 right now because I think number 2 earns the spot. But let's get into the next one. So number 2 figure for 2023 is Kurisu from Steins Gate. Now let me tell you right now, this figure is stunning. Let's just talk about the base. The base itself is amazing. I love the fact that it's not a plain base. I've talked about that a lot of times, that the base being plain isn't too big of a deal, but at the same time, it helps aesthetically if it's not a plain one. But the sculpt from everything on the base, from the monitors, the DVDs, the keyboards, the light fixtures, the disc, the floppy disk, the mice, or mouse, whatever, everything about the base screams Steins Gate if you know it, because it just rings out Steins Gate. There's so much on here that just references the anime and references like what the anime is pretty much about, how it's so hectic and confusing at times. But if you really narrow in and start seeing things, you're just like, that's what it is. The microwave, I'm pretty sure, is in here. It is. The microwave's in here. If you don't know what the microwave is from Steins Gate, go watch Steins Gate. But the figure is gorgeous. I love Kurisu. Like, she is amazing detail. Her hair shading, I love that. I love the fact that her face is very nice. The fact that this is based off of illustration as well, just hands down nails it as well. So it's an amazing figure, and it would definitely probably be a Grail figure. The only thing that stops it, like legitimately stops it from being there, is the size. Like, the size is I think too small for an amazing figure as it is. I think if this was a slightly bigger, I think if it was a 1/6, at the very biggest, if it was a 1/4, I think it would be a hands down Grail figure. It would be gorgeous. I think it would knock everything out the park. Like, literally, this is a 1/7. If it was just literally, if it was a 1/6, I think it would be right there, and I wouldn't have any doubts about it being a Grail figure. The fact that it's just slightly too small kind of teeters it on, like, there's something. I'll probably like to see this bigger, because I would like to see everything kind of slightly blown up a little bit. So I think that's what's kind of off-putting about it. But at the same time, like, I can't knock the details of the figure. Like, does the size really knock it that much down? No. It's just that you want more of it. I think that's the crux of it. But overall, the figure is gorgeous. I think for my first Steins Gate figure, it hits the ball at the park. I think it's an amazing figure. And I love the fact that this is Kurisu, because I was debating to get a different Kurisu figure at one point, but I saw this guy announced. I was like, hands down, no, this has to be the Kurisu I want and have to get, and I'm so happy I did. So this is definitely like the Kurisu figure. I think if you're a Steins Gate fan, I think this is probably a great one. So I love Kurisu. If you love it, like, if you like this anime, check out this figure. I don't think you'll be disappointed. So that's my number 2 figure of the year, is Kurisu from Steins Gate. Okay, so real quick, were you able to guess my number 1 figure of the year was? I'll tell you right now, it is a figure that I am biased towards because I love the character. You've probably seen it in my room tour, how many figures of this character I have and how much art is around it. Again, it's a very easy guess if you know. Like, I love aesthetic, I love aesthetic, I love art, I love characters, but when it comes to characters I really do like and ones I really do want, I can't help but gravitate towards them and almost want to buy every figure of them. So my number 1 figure of 2023 is the Festival Portrait of Jeanne d'Arc Alter from Fate Granddaughter. So I will be the first to admit, it is not the most detailed figure, it's not the best shaded figure, but based off character alone, and just like when you find a character or an anime that you just love and you see a character of them, you want to buy them. And the fact that the figure itself is, for the most part, like, detailed, like, nicely in every character, it doesn't hinder a character. I think that's what can put you in, like, oh, this is your favorite figure right now. Because when I got her, I was like, again, just like my Mito figure, how she helps complete a collection, it's the same thing for this John figure, because I have, what, 6 6, 7, 8 figures of John and John Alter. She's my favorite character from Fate Grand Order. I have like her MP5, MP4, and her vanilla one. Again, I love the character. Fate Grand Order is one of my favorite series. So the fact that when you have a John Alter alternate like dress version, like hell yes, I am getting it. And yes, I will be biased and I will put her as my number one. Again, I will not deny it. I am being biased because I love the character, hands down. And there are figures with better shading, better sculpts, better overall aesthetics that I do agree with. But as a personal level, and this is what this is my personal top 5, I'm going to put John there because I always love my John figures. Every figure I've bought so far, I have not regretted them. They have, for the most part, one way or the other, have made a list of like, this is my grail figure, this is my top figure, I love this. Like, they are always probably somewhere on my list. So I love the John figure. Like when I looked at all my figures for 2023, I was like, John's on there. Like, it wasn't a question. It was not a question that John was going to be on the top 5. Now, should she be number 1? Probably not. But again, when I look at the figures, I'm just like, there's one. If I have to debate what a number of a figure is, then I'm just like, okay, maybe I'm putting this number 1, this number 2. But immediately when I saw John, I was like, she's number 1. Like, there was no question. There was nothing like, oh no, this one's number 1 for sure, or maybe this one, or maybe this one. Like, no, like John was immediate number 1. No questions about it. And even now, I'm just like, I have no doubts. Like, yes, she's my number 1 figure. Again, she may not be the best detailed, may not be the best sculpted, shaded, anything like that. Her base isn't aesthetically like amazing because it's not a plain base, but it's it's mostly pink because it just has a name around it. But I don't know, like once you actually love a character or a figure, you're gonna love that. You're gonna just love it, and just it's gonna merely put it on that scale for you. So even like for instance, like the Bella figure, amazing. The Komi Mito figure, gorgeous. The Kurisu figure and the Ashram Designs figures, all of them amazing, love, gorgeous, and they all deserve a top spot. But when it comes to a character you just love, hands down, John's gonna be that character for me. The only character that would rival John as a number 1 character for me would literally be Saiko Burishima if she ever got another figure. So yes, I'm being biased. Yes, I know it's like, oh, that's your number 1. That's a little blah. But here's the thing: it's my collection. I'll have to get it. So as soon as you see a figure and you say buy, no hesitation, you know you're gonna love the figure, or you have a love for that character, and John is that character for me. So yes, hands down, the Festival Portrait John figure of John the Arc Alter is my number 1 figure of 2023. But guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know what's your favorite figure of 2023 that you got, and what you think let me know what you think is the best figure I got from 2023 down below as well, because I got a lot. So there's one thing. There's a figure that's in my collection that I actually didn't make a video for, and I'm mad about it. I think I've talked about it in my room tour. It's my Miku figure. It was my first Miku figure, and I talked about it in my upcoming figures of 2023. I recorded that video, did not make a video for it, or I didn't edit and publish that video, which I'm very mad about. So I might have to put down like a lost archives type of thing, which is kind of sad. But let me know what was your favorite video that you saw, or favorite figure you saw in my collection. Go back to my 2023 video, 2023 upcoming figures, and let me know out that collection what figure you think is the best. Again, I collect so many figures that sometimes it's very hard for me to keep track which ones I got when. Sometimes that's why the videos very much help me narrow down that list. But guys, I want to thank you very much for watching. Like, share, comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Later, crew.